We're going to bring on the very lady that created the show so you can receive revolutionary and 21st century treatment to help you reach your optimal health. Gathering us together to create a healthy haven here on Earth, your host and show producer, please welcome Anna Leah.
Welcome to Healthy Haven Live, the first live and only health talk show here in San Diego. I am honored to be your host here tonight for our second show, and I want to thank DJ Danny for continuing to bring his amazing energy to each and every show. He's got such talent. Look at all the fog, love it, and the voice. Thank you all for being here. You know, I noticed a little pattern. This is our second show. It rained last time in San Diego, and it rained again today. And being the optimistic person that I am, I think, you know what, this is good. This means that the show is a refreshing show. We don't have anything like it anywhere. And the rain is a symbolism of being a refreshing day, okay? So I applaud you guys, not just me, but you guys, for coming out, whether it be your first time here, and if you're back for the second time, welcome back for the second time. I must say, it is never, repeat, never too late to get into optimal health and get a healthy lifestyle going. It's never too late. And it's an ongoing thing. It's not like you just diet one time and you're done, and you kind of, you know, keep an eye on your diet, your fridge, and what you have in there one time. It's ongoing. So thank you for being here. Today we're here, like I wanted to say, I have gathered information, 21st century information, from webinars, seminars, and guest speakers from all over the world to bring to you here. We have a guest speaker who came from Santa Monica today, and we're going to meet her later. We've got guest speakers that are from local ones. So we're all good with the kind of information you're going to get. But before we go on, I want to make sure everybody got everything. We have adorable cheerleaders that at the door, I'm pretty convinced, gave you some really fun stuff. So, does everybody have their wristbands, their Create a Healthy Haven wristbands? If you were here last time, you got one color. If you're back, you get to go home with a different color, unless you're in love with the first color you had. So, hopefully you got that. Secondly, did you all get your handbooks? Those handbooks are absolutely priceless. I say that because there's so much good stuff in there that I gathered personally to help you stay healthy throughout every part of your body. There's stuff that's related to the retina in your eye, and a lot of people say to me, I have a screen protector, and I say to them, is it collecting dust? Because that's all it's good for. Or is it protecting you from the blue light? And that's probably why you're getting glasses bumped up and your contact lenses bumped up. So keep an eye on what is really on that screen. And in that handbook, we have exactly how you can protect yourself with the retina. I also want to thank Mike Sofer. He provided us with Palomar Mountain water. Let me tell you why that water is so special and why it is also in your handbooks. That water is, well, we've been known to be the 5th best, largest water in the world. Okay, and it's right here locally in San Diego. We got the best mountain water. It has no chlorine, it has no fluoride. Okay, so we have it offered to you free from Mike. Thank you again, Mike. And you got a special in your handbook how you can get it delivered to your home at no charge. So help yourself to that and try that out. Okay, we are ready to see if we are all on the same page. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. How many of you are here today to reach optimal health? Are we here to reach optimal health? I gotta hear that. Really, yes, are we here? You came in the rain. You must be here for a good reason. Okay, all right, reaching optimal health. All right, how many are here to age gracefully? Get rid of those wrinkles and those bags and the gray hair. We're here today. I love it, love it, love it. Yes, me too. Okay. And last but not least, how many want to live a quality life? Yes, for quality. And quality, let me explain what quality means. You can go look it up in your dictionary, but I'll tell you my version. Quality means you are not limping. You are getting up in the morning full of energy, wanting to start your day. Your mind is all set, ready to go. You got your goals, you got passion in life. That's quality. Okay, no allergies, no sniffling, all that stuff. Okay, so that we're all on the right page, and I thank you very much for being here once again. So we all have our stuff. We're going to bring on today some very special co-hosts. And these co-hosts are lovely ladies. They have their own practice too. and you'll get to meet them later. But I would like to introduce to you our lovely ladies. I've got two of them today. They're different than the ones from last week, and I will rotate them every now and then. Come on up. Gianna and Anna and Rosie, and I'm going to let you speak. They're going to say a little bit about themselves. And introducing Gianna Granton. Here you go. You want to take his mic? Okay, great. She'll tell you a little bit. Thank you.
My name is Gianna Granton, and I'm a quantum physics biofeedback specialist. What we do, what I do is I help to balance the frequencies in any living entity. If it's breathing, we can balance it. So I hope to talk to you more about this in just a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Anna Lee Ambrose. I have a life coaching practice called Create Balance. What we do is we coach and teach individuals basically how to elevate the quality of your life to the next level of whole health, happiness, and fulfillment. I will be here a little bit after the show, so if you'd like to come talk to me and discover how we do it, feel free. I'll be in the back. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Okay, we'll just give back his mic. I also want to thank three very, very, very special gentlemen. And it's because of them. Let me tell you this. If you guys did not get the video, and leave me your email at the end of the night on those survey thing, they recorded the entire first show for those of you that couldn't make it here. And they're doing it voluntarily. I would like to mention their names if ever you need them for any type of videos. Georgie Aviles, Jeffrey Crooks, and Jonathan Henry. We can't thank you enough for videoing the way you're doing it. They took 2 hours of a long show, edited into one little one, so that we can all see it on YouTube all the time. So I want to applaud them. Thank you so much. It was really amazing what you guys did, and they're so talented in how they put it together. On time, just the best guys. Yeah, you can't get better than this, so thank you very much. And they're going to record this show as well, so hopefully, but let me tell you something. There's nothing like being live in a show like this. Why do you think? I'll tell you why. You got a bunch of stuff at the door that if you were at home would not get. You got handbooks that you wouldn't be getting if you were sitting at home. You wouldn't be tasting our water. You wouldn't get prizes. You wouldn't even be able to try out the raffles or speak to our guest speakers at the end of the day. So there you go. Applaud yourself for showing up in the rain. Woohoo to that. We applaud you all. Thank you for coming. All right, we are ready to get started. And I got a special treat. We've got these adorable cheerleaders that are coming on to show us the motto of this show. This show has a motto. We are here for a reason. What makes this show, cheerleaders, are you ready to come on down? Yes, we are ready for you. Look at, they're getting all prepared. What makes this show a show and different from some of the other ones is that we have live entertainment. These cheerleaders are the first time that they've been here. They're from SoCal Heat Cheerleading, and we're going to bring them on. They're so cute. We had the older ones last time from LCC, and they were high schools. All is great. All ages want to get into healthy living, and all ages should learn this motto that they are about to show us right now. Are you ready? You guys are too cute. Oh, look at that. Okay, I'm going to let you guys are the stars. Go for it. Sasha. Cute. Thank you, Sasha.
Giselle.
Hi, Giselle. And you got the little ones in the back. Oh my.
The other Sasha.
Yeah. Did you say the other Sasha? Okay, yeah.
Coco.
Coco. Sweet. Aren't they adorable? Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Good. What energy, right? That's what we want. We want liveliness, energy at all times. Okay. We are good to start moving on with this show. We're all here. So last time we talked about several things. Just one second. So first of all, I want to tell you just briefly a little bit about me. My name is Leah, my full name, and I'm a certified healthcare practitioner through Total Health Mastery. I specialize in nutrition consultation and detoxification, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And more than anything, what I use the most is the emotion code, and I'm certified through Dr. Bradley Nelson. So I've got to get through the modality. I got to get through before I get to the real stuff. Just the formality of a disclaimer. The disclaimers are in your handbooks. I need you to know that I'm not a medical doctor. If you have any condition whatsoever that you're dealing with, all I do is gather information for you. I brought it here in the show, but it's up to you guys to use your judgment at your own discretion. You can try some of the supplements, you cannot try some of them, you can take some of the information and know it exists and then go further with it and go research it some more. My job is just to present it to you and let you know this is something you might want to look into. I do not diagnose, but I'd be more than happy to talk about any conditions. We have guest speakers too that can help you with that. But I do want to congratulate you on taking the time to seek all varieties of information and resources to help you decide what is best for you and your optimal health. All right, so last time, if you missed the show last week, I'm going to briefly go through the emotion code. I'm probably going to do it at every show because I think this is the main thing, the main reason why a lot of us get sick. And it's the ideal way. It literally gets to the root of what anybody has. And I'm going to explain to you why. It's quick and non-invasive, by the way. This is Dr. Bradley Nelson. He's the founder of the Emotion Code, and he tells us that there are 60 emotions, there they are, buried in our subconscious mind. What is the subconscious mind? It is like a blueprint of your entire body. It's like a computer hard drive for those of you that are into computers. So it's so powerful to know that those 60 emotions, and there's 350 that we have bombarded in our bodies or our minds all the time. So the emotion code is 85% of our overall well-being. So let's say you have any condition, and the reason I'm showing you this now, because we're going to be talking about detoxification. We're going to be talking about CBD oil, and guess what? If you have emotions lingering in your body first, good luck trying to get to the root of anything else. This is the root. Get rid of the emotions. It's bombarding 85% of you. And then whatever's left, we can deal with more effectively. And so these emotions affect physical. There they are right there. You got physical, pains, allergies, digestion, if you're feeling a physical emotion. Mental emotions, ADD and Alzheimer's. And then you've got the emotional, which is depression, anxiety, and stress. Everybody's got that, right? That's why you got those stress reliever balls. We all got one of those. I forgot to ask you. Yes? Okay. Can't be in a healthy haven and have stress. It just doesn't work together. So if you feel any stress, you can go squeeze that, okay? And spiritually, there's negative energy blocks. Okay, we're going to get into detoxification now. There's so many people that have all kinds of ailments going on. And like I said, the first one would be releasing it emotionally. But more than anything, there's organs that can benefit from a detox. Now, the brain is an organ, but it's not up here, because these are specifically the ones that can eliminate and have the ability to detoxify our organs. So let me tell you a little secret. We all, there it is right there, we all have an innate ability to detoxify our organs. We're made to do that, we can do that. But there's a little problem, there it is right there in red. Our organs get clogged up with toxins over the years, just like a car. When you have a car, don't you need a tune-up? You also need an oil change? Okay, so do your organs. They need it, and organs of elimination are overwhelmed by maintenance tasks. We bombard them with garbage, okay? So, here are some of the types of toxins that we're dealing with. One of them is a primary toxin. And what was the one I just told you about a little while ago? Emotional. There it is. It's right on the top of the list, the emotional. We are storing negative emotions. If we were bullied in school, if we lost a loved one, if we got a divorce, if we have financial issues, the list is endless. I mean, I can go on with this, okay? All those create negative emotions. If one of your kids might be challenging ongoingly, okay? All negative emotions, you're bombarding your subconscious with those. Now, what can it do? Well, it slows down the GI tract. Oops. I didn't want to do that, yeah? It slows down the GI tract. That blocks other organs. So that's why I wanted to point that out to you. Because if you're trying to detoxify and take stuff to help your digestion, how can you do that when you can't even digest your food because you just had an argument with somebody? Okay? So you're at a dinner and you're thinking everything's great, but you're thinking all these negative thoughts. So you just blocked your digestive system. Now you think you're going to go on a cleanse or go to the gym. That's not going to work as effectively until you get rid of the emotions. Energetic toxicity. That's what we talked about last week. EMFs, electromagnetic fields. Those are huge. There's many of you here, I'm sure, sitting in the audience with no chip on your phone. What do I mean by that? There's chips that are presented in the back. There's two gentlemen in the back right there ready to hand you those EMF protector chips. If you have kids, I bet they probably advance to the bigger phones, the bigger laptops, the bigger screens. Well, every time you're looking at that, never mind the damage from the blue light that's coming out, but the EMF radiation that's coming out is literally damaging their brain. Last week we called it, or last show, we called it the silent killer. And it's silently diminishing your immune system, your reproductive area, if the kids are putting their phones in their pockets, okay, gentlemen that are doing that, sperm counts will be less at some point. It's very, very damaging. So we want to keep an eye on that. And then heavy metals. How many of you still have silver fillings in your mouths? Okay, well, guess what? Every time you swallow, you're still swallowing mercury. Okay? Keep an eye on that. And I would remove them, personally. And I have had people that I've known have them removed. There's a safe way to do it. You got to find a holistic dentist. But it's very important to get those out as well. Because again, you need to do this kind of before you even consider a cleanse. All right, then we got GMO in our food. Isn't that lovely? Okay, so GMOs, genetically modified organisms, are found to disrupt the human metabolic and endocrine system. Not okay for the ladies as well, because we've got hormones that would like to be balanced, and that damages it. Hybridized and processed grains, they strip the nutrition in our germ and fiber and bran, leaving us just the gluey part. So there's no nutrition there. Alcohol, well, we all love that at some point, but you know what? Wine actually damages the lining and the liver. I don't know how, I bet if I tested some of you to just see how your liver's doing, how many really had a liver cleanse in their lives? You know, you've got to add up how many times did you get your oil changed, but yet did you ever do anything with your liver? Something to think about. Soft drinks, kids love this, of course, energy drinks, and all caffeine is best to avoid so your neurological system can rest and repair with no hyperstimulation. Processed foods in general and chemicals added and nutrients removed. All right, low quality supplements. Please be careful when you buy supplements. Everybody runs to all these places thinking, oh, this looks like a good, I'll tell you what to look for in a supplement. I'll give you one little secret. If it has magnesium stearate, right there, see that word magnesium stearate? That doesn't mean it's got magnesium that your body and bones need. That means it's a filler and probably not the best quality company to get it from. Okay, I personally love Premier Research Lab. I think it's one of the best companies out there. And they are very, very careful with their products. We have some here as well, you'll see why. Everything is in dark containers. They're dark because they're protecting them from the sunlight. They make sure they're delivered by ground. They pass all 4 polarities. They got an immense long shelf life, okay? And it is potent. Their stuff is very, very potent. That's what I look for. So always read the back. Also, I love capsules. Capsules are way easier to absorb for the liver, the digestive system, and everything else when you have it in capsule form. So be careful with that. Artificial sweeteners, we want to stay away from, of course, aspartame, Splenda, sucrose, animal products. Now, there's a lot of people that go vegetarian, and there's bonuses to that, but here's a little secret that I actually learned a little while ago. If you're a blood type O, you actually need some meat. You really do need some meat from what I understand. And the reason is there's something in the animal that allows you to have more hemo in your blood. So you can talk to me about that later, but if you're gonna get animal products, make sure that, first of all, you don't want them with steroids, antibiotics, and hormones. You want organic. Some of the best meats I would probably lean towards would be lamb and buffalo. Those are probably one of the top that I would go for. Sugar, refined sugars, and even the natural concentrated sugars, look at this, create insulin spikes. Insulin spikes, right at the bottom. Insulin spikes, which are counterproductive to healing. So we got to keep all these things in mind before you go ahead and start to get a cleanse. Food toxins. All right. Where am I here? All right. Rancid and processed oils. Oh, I love this topic of oils. I literally go into a restaurant. In fact, I went to one. Every now and then I do eat out. I am not a perfect person, I can tell you right now. I do like to eat out. And I asked the guy standing right behind the counter, I said, do you guys, what oils do you use? Do you use vegetable and canola? And he said, oh yeah. And I said, you realize how damaging that is? Now, I don't know why he would care. He's just working there, but I felt like saying it. And he said, oh, I know. I looked at him, you know? Yeah, well, basically, what can he do about it? He's just the worker, right? But it's out there. If you have knowledge, and this whole show is about knowledge is power, right? We want to get educated. They know vegetable oil. It's rancid. It cannot resist heat. Same with safflower oil. Same with canola and vegetable. They're not okay. They clog up your digestive system and a lot more, and are inflammatory. So better, here's the supplement, better to use coconut, olive, sesame, and avocado. All right? Just a little tip. Low quality protein products. So people think, oh, soy is so great. It used to be the big thing. Soy, soy, soy. Well, guess what? It really screws up a lot of your hormones as well. It's not as good as people think. And are buying them in form of protein powders and bars. There are a lot. If you look at your protein bars, a lot of them do have the soy in it. And they're low quality, creating a heavy load on the human metabolism. Poor quality detox. 3 words right there. Dairy. Dairy to avoid. Why? You know how many times? I knew right from the beginning when I had my kids, they had goat milk. I knew not to go the dairy route. Most of the kids in their class, my kids' class, had allergies, ear infections, digestive issues, couldn't sleep at night. It's like if I was a practitioner at the time, I would have went to the parents and go, are you giving them dairy? Because you know what? When you go through the food line at lunch, they all have little milk pouches, and they're all encouraged to take one, okay? But is it good for them? That's for us to educate ourselves and find out. And I'm telling you, I prefer not to have my kids on that. Goat milk, almond milk, coconut milk, those are okay in my book, way better than dairy itself. And why? Because, again, the mucus, the hormones, the steroids they give them, the antibiotics, again, you need to know that before you get into a quality cleanse. Salt. I'm not going to say a big no to salt because I take pink salt every single day. As a matter of fact, I start my day with Himalayan pink salt in warm water with lemon. That's how I start my day every day. Do you know why? Because think about it. What does breakfast mean? Break the fast. Your body was resting the entire evening, right? It's all unrest. Now what are you going to do? Wake it up with coffee? Or wake it up with something cold? No. I would rather soothe it with something warm, get it started, and here's something else. How many of you heard of intermittent fasting? I'm on it now. I'm on an intermittent fasting diet. That means that you do not have to get up first thing in the morning and jump to go have breakfast. In fact, the longer you wait, the more you're allowing your digestive system to take it easy, repair itself for the next meal. And you want to go easy on it. Warm water, pink salt, gives you energy. It's got all the minerals in it. Okay, so salt depends what kind of salt. Sea salt's pretty good too. But salt needs to be eliminated table spot so the potassium ratio in the cells to increase, which will help you eliminate excess of sodium and fluid retention in billions of cells. Okay, last but not least, we got environmental and household toxins. I'm just going to whiz through these, but these are some of the things that are bombarding our well-being, okay? Of course, smoking, secondhand smoke if we're exposed to it. Cookware, I'm very, very picky about my cookware. Okay, you got to be careful what you're... Go look, do you have scratches in them? Because chances are, if it is scratched or those non-stick ones, well, there's a reason why they're not sticking, because they got a chemical sprayed in them, okay? So be careful from all those. Laundry products, they may smell nice, that doesn't mean they're good for you. I literally, my head spun when one of my kids brought home a fabric softener and saying, oh, this is the most popular one. Yeah, it's popular for giving me a headache. It's really, really strong, and fragrance usually is damaging. I prefer to lean on something like lavender, something more natural, okay? And there are plenty out there as well, if you take a look. Water, you want to stay away from, that's why I love our water, because it doesn't have chlorine and fluoride with Palomar Mountain. So that's a good thing. Chemtrails. All right, you know those little planes that look adorable in the sky and make all those designs? Yes, we're all familiar with some of those? Okay. They're literally literally shooting down silver nitrate most of the time. I can't say every time, but every now and then I personally get affected from them. How do I know? Because you're going to find out there's ways to test, and it can make me very dizzy. It can really make you lethargic too. Lose your focus, your immune system. So those are some of the things that are going in our body. And then of course there's car exhaust and benzene at the pumps. You know, all these things that we don't even think about when you're putting gas in your car. Home cleaning supplies, you know, just because it says a certain brand name that we're all familiar with, doesn't mean there's not chemicals in it, okay? Canned goods, be careful with the ones that are, you know, in cans. Antacid and antibiotics, cosmetics. I get the most natural cosmetics that I can. I make sure they don't have alcohol and talc and mineral oils. Please, ladies, I'm going to stress this right now. If you have a deodorant, please make sure that it doesn't have aluminum in it, okay? You want a natural deodorant. So anything that says antiperspirant, you can take, and I would trash it. I mean, I wouldn't even have anything that says antiperspirant. The reason is you need to sweat. And so if you're using an antiperspirant and you're blocking the perspiration because it says antiperspiration on it, right? You're literally keeping the toxins in your body. It's that simple. So you want to expose the toxins in a natural way, but you want to use a deodorant, of course, that smells nice. So there are plenty out there. There's a lot. There's lavender, there's sandalwood, there's all kinds. You don't want the ones that say antiperspirant on it. Your workplace, also be careful with that. There's carpet fresheners that you put, aren't aware of. Your poor dogs or cats might be going on it, okay? And they're sniffing, and then you wonder, well, my cat's sick and my dog's sick. Well, did you put something in the carpet maybe? Or on the tiles that you sprayed? Okay, so be careful with that as well. Okay, and benefits of detoxifying your body, which we're going to get more with our guest speaker today. It reduces inflammation, which over time leads to chronic pain and disease. So when you're inflamed, chances are, check your liver. Check your liver. Why are you inflamed? There's no reason for it. There's no excuse for it. Helps you get an ideal weight. Helps you achieve better focus and clarity. We can all use that. Can help you provide with more energy and prevents mood swings. You can feel a lot happier when you're cleansed and feeling good. It can also prevent diseases and health conditions. Can prevent your mitochondria cells from aging. Cleanses your organs so you live quality. And supplements become more effective when you have a clean liver and a clean body with clean organs. It can help provide better sleep and can keep your immune strong. Okay. I personally have an infrared sauna in my house. Absolutely love it. I go in twice a week. It relaxes all my bones, my muscles, and gives me a good sweat. I don't even have to do anything. I just sit there, and in 25 minutes, I come out sweating. Because you need to sweat. That's how things get toxic. All the toxins come out. I get a lymphatic massage once a month. I make sure of that. Moves things around, okay? Keeps everything going. Mud soaks. I love my mud soaks. I don't do them as often, but I would if needed. And dental packs. Okay, so let me talk to you about dental packs real quick. For those of you that do have a potential cavity, and I've had many times dentists tell me, you have a cavity, you will need to come back for a filling. Oh, you have a root canal soon to be. I'm like, really? I go home and I take care of it myself. I do a coconut oil pull, which is really easy. You take coconut oil, you liquefy it, maybe like if it's too stiff, you put water in it, make it nice and liquidy, and then you swoosh it in your mouth. And I want to give you a tip. I had someone told me that they swooshed it in their mouth for 20 minutes. I'm like, you're kidding, right? It shouldn't be more than 2 to 3 minutes because you're swooshing around toxins. So what you could do is spit it out. Here's another secret. Do not spit it in the sink. It will clog up your pipes, okay? Spit it in the toilet or in the garbage. Literally, I'm not kidding. So that's one thing. And then if you want to refresh and do another one, round 2, go ahead. But you do not keep that same one in your mouth for too long, okay? Remember that. So that's one thing. And the other thing is a dental pack. If I suspected a cavity or a sore tooth, I have literal dental mud that you put on there. It sits there for a little bit, and then before you know, and then I go back to the dentist, and it's like, surprise, I have no more cavities anymore. And some of them don't even care to know what I did because it's not in their field to care. They just know the basic, you pull a tooth out and you, fill a cavity. But you guys now have another tip to know, okay? So this one more thing we picked up today. And last but not least is colonics. These are not fun, but they're important, okay? So I know a lovely lady who does colonics, and you can speak to me about her later, but with the colonics also there is, one second, there is also coffee enemas, liver cleanses with coffee. Now, let me explain to you. I personally do not drink coffee, but the coffee does not go through the mouth. Okay, they're enemas. So it will literally shoot up to your liver area and take out the toxins. And let me tell you, there's places in Florida called Hippocrates. Some of them, when they have cancer patients come in, will do 4 or 5 a day, because they know they gotta trigger that liver. Okay, that's a main organ that needs to stay clean and detoxified. So that's something to consider for just about any condition. I like to keep up with keeping that liver clean. Cilantro oil can help with heavy metals. I know for a fact when when chemtrails are shooting a lot, I like to take silica drops. It protects me from environmental chemicals. Cilantro oil also does that. Some essential oils are oregano, peppermint, eucalyptus, antifungal and antibacterial ones. And in my opinion, the greener the food, the better. Okay? Nutrient high dense foods like spirulina, chlorophyll, green algae. My kids take this every day. My daughter knows that before she leaves the house, she's got her little basket there, and in it, if you like to know, there is spirulina, chlorella, okay? She has her healthy oils for her brain, and if it's kind of like a cold, wetty day, I will tell her to take Sambucol, which has got elderberry in it, okay? Her immune is always boosted up. I make sure to it, and she knows the value of each and every one of those things in there. And it's funny, she'd come home, she goes, everybody's sick and sneezing around me. I'm like, oh, okay, well, why don't you suggest some of the stuff you're taking, you know? And she did. She really got a lot of her friends to start on this stuff, and it's so helpful. All food should be organic to avoid pesticides, and all food should be non-GMO, not processed. Beneficial to have enzymes to properly digest your food. We have some available for you today. In my opinion, if you're going to eat a cooked food, you need to have something to help you break it down. It's that simple. As you get older, you're not making enough enzymes. You need to have something to help you along. I take prebiotics and probiotics daily. I take trace minerals to support the body during a detox. Detoxes are hard on the body. Okay, they take, you know, they're sucking out toxins, but they need your help to keep it together, okay? So other supplements to consider, nanoparticular silver kills pathogens, binds toxins. There's just some extra stuff I threw in there. Okay, I'm about to bring on a lovely guest speaker tonight, and before I present her to you, she's gonna continue our presentation of detoxification. Her name is Sandy Starr. You may have heard her speak before at Jimbo's, and we were very lucky to have her today. She actually also wrote a book she's going to tell you about. But I want to read to you a little bit about her. She's a holistic practitioner, exactly what I love, all these holistic practitioners, clinical nutrition, and author. Sandy specializes in functional nutrition and wellness with focus on addressing the underlying triggers of inflammation by incorporating a comprehensive evaluation and laboratory testing as needed. So she's going to talk to you about the laboratory tests that they do. Sandy's primary focus is treating and preventing disease and dependency on pharmaceuticals. Okay, we don't want to lean on when ill give a pill. If you read the beginning of my handbook, it's right there. I made a joke of that. When ill give a pill, that's all we know, right? We're trying to break away from that, right? And her mission is, so how does she do it? Well, basically she incorporates naturopathic therapies, lifestyle and nutritional counseling, and her mission, I love her mission, create awareness that impacts our nation's focus on disease prevention and holistically. I want to bring on Sandy Starr. Let's give her a hand. Thank you, Sandy, for being here.
Hello. Oh, yes, that would help. Okay. Oh, going the wrong way. There we go. Okay. Well, I have a disclaimer too, but I won't read it. Okay, so we're talking about inflammation and detox, and it's really important to understand what inflammation is and what it does. It causes disease. 80% of disease, if not all disease, is from chronic inflammation. So inflammation by itself is good if it's for short term, because it has a purpose to heal the body. So when it becomes chronic, we have a lot of issues that happen. And it also causes deficiencies in nutrients.
So what I do in my practice is I do some testing. I'll talk about a couple of them that I do quite a bit of for the most part. Food panel, micronutrient panel, and a GI panel. So when we look at the IgE, IgA, IgG, most people have heard of the IgG. It's basically an intolerance panel. So it's antibodies. We're looking at the proteins and their reaction to foods. So this is all in regards to foods. The IgE is quite common, like the immediate reaction. So we think about peanuts, right, when people have that reaction. So that's an IgE. We pretty much know when we have that. It's very obvious. The IgA I run because it really looks at the mucosous membrane, so the GI tract, the lungs, or somebody's having skin issues, the IgA is a good thing to run as well. And then the IgG is quite common. That is looking at the antibodies where we have systemic issues, systemic reactions in the body. And I find when I do the combo of this panel, it's quite interesting because you'll have some foods come up on one and not the other, and yet you kind of have to go through that domino effect that they both can cause, and they can both damage the GI tract. The micronutrient panel is pretty cool. What it does, it looks at the 33 vitamins, minerals, amino acids, antioxidants, and metabolites, and how they're working in the body on a cellular level. So you can tell how your cells are doing and if you're deficient or balanced. It's a blood test as well, and it actually allows me to know how to supplement for somebody, or if somebody's severely deficient, then we can do IV therapy, and we can ramp up the system pretty quick. So this is pretty common with people with autoimmune, chronic illness, cancer, things like that. So we can really look into the body. And then 6 months later, we can do a comparison test. So we can tell if our therapies are actually working. And I know when I was working with Stangler, we did that a lot with the cancer patients. So the micronutrient testing is pretty cool. So this is kind of a nice visual. When we look at inflammation, if you look at the wheel here, you can see how many vitamins and nutrients are associated with inflammation. So a good one is vitamin D, which basically helps regulate inflammation, and most people are deficient in vitamin D. So that's a good one to check. And there's glutamine, coenzyme, Q10. I've got a lot of people on that, especially people that have cholesterol issues. It does protect the heart as well. This would be the GI tract. So you can see vitamin D's there as well. So a lot of times these kind of cross over. So when you look at somebody's GI tract, you're looking at inflammation and all kinds of cholesterol. There's wheels for all kinds of stuff. It's just a really nice visual. So we can see vitamin C has a lot to do with the immune system. Glutathione, so we'll do like a glutathione push when we do IVs just to ramp up the system. So it's just cool to see folate. You can tell that has a lot to do with the colon. And people that are low in folate, it can link to cancer. So it's kind of almost like a precursor if you're low in folate. So we got to be careful with that. Anxiety is a good one. I treat quite a few people with anxiety, and I always start with the gut. I always start in the GI tract because, again, you can see when you have deficiencies, it's really going to affect your overall health. And you can tell on this one, folate here again, so another crossover, and of course the B vitamins. So when you're looking at your, you think about your brain, it's actually in your gut. So you've got a lot of nerves in there going on. So that's definitely related as well. Weight management, again, you look at the same kind of stuff. It's kind of a crossover, right? So, but it's all tied to inflammation. So when we look at weight management, it's just a good wheel to look at. But it's not about going on diets or even sometimes just detoxing first without really looking at the imbalances in the body and what's going on there. And you start from the inside and work your way out. So the GI panel, this is a fun one. People give me that look every time I hand them the box to take home. But this one really looks at a lot of cool stuff. We're looking at basically your bacteria ratio. So if that's imbalanced, you've got some issues. The fatty acids, because those are what are eating in the gut from the foods. The IgA, this is another way to look at the IgA for the mucus integrity in the gut. You've got white blood cell interaction here, your pancreatic enzymes. We want to look and make sure those are breaking down your food. Zonulin is basically how we look for leaky gut. That's when you have basically open tight junctions, holes in your small intestine that allow systemic inflammation. And when that's chronic, that's a real issue. So if somebody has leaky gut or they have really bad imbalance or yeast, we look at the yeast and pathogens, that's a big one too. If somebody's got that going on, we've got to be really careful how we're going to be detoxing, right? Or if we really want to, first we want to kind of clean up and figure out what's going on in the gut first. Pretty, huh? Looks refreshing. Okay, so best cleanser detox. Really, honestly, for me, it's like before you even decide to do that, can you fit it in your lifestyle? Do you really kind of know enough about it to be comfortable with it? So your current diet, you can't go from the SAD diet, standard American diet, and then all of a sudden start detoxing and go crazy with it, because you will have some bad reactions. So that's a really important one. And why do you want to detox? So for me, I have people do support, like you have some supplements that you recommend. I do a lot of liver support with people, and that can really help when they switch up the diet to help push things through. So that's a really good support. And definitely if they're on like red yeast extract or any, like treating cholesterol or anything like that, I always have them do liver support. People that are on hormone replacement, liver support's important because you want to make sure things go through the liver and process. And then of course you want the GI tract working. So do you have a game plan? Are you prepared? And most importantly, are you kind of healthy enough to detox? Now when I say detox, I mean like a crazy detox. It's really good, like you were talking about, to do things on a daily basis to detox. And that's what I do. I incorporate a lot of what you talked about, right, spot on. So every day we can do things to help detox. So there's detox kits though, like Des Bio is a great company I use. They have a homeopathic detox that's tinctures. There's like, I think 6 of them, and you rotate them. And it lasts a couple months, but it will go down into the matrix, and it'll go into the brain, it'll go really deep into the body in a homeopathic way, so it's not as intense as some of the detoxes. And then you can get some, that was Des Bio, you get some from like Designs for Health. These are just basic companies. But you can get some that have the enzymes and the liver support and the vitamins and the protein powders and all of that. So again, there's so many different ways to do it, but I think the best way is to work with somebody that can really help get you personally what makes sense for you through it. Apex, another one, they have a whole big program. So they provide the books and all of that, so that's another one. These are just some examples. So how long? That was one of the questions. Really, it just depends on your body, depends on your goals. It depends on what kind of detox, but there's a couple, like a 1-day water cleanse, like just cleanse once a week. Clean your body out, give it a rest. The intermittent fasting is another good one too. I like it where you just stop eating a certain time at night, so you're 12 hours without food to give your body some rest. And then a 3-day juice cleanse can be helpful, but you want to make sure you don't do all fruit, right? I mean, it's got to be a lot of vegetables, maybe a little bit of apple, that kind of thing. Longer cleanses are really, it's a process for sure. And it really will address a lot of things that people are trying to get out, but definitely having support through that's important. So when we look at the organs, I always say look at the colon, because if things aren't moving through, then you're not really getting rid of stuff. I mean, infrared saunas, sweating is definitely, dry brushing, Epsom salt baths and all that are really important, but the colon needs to be moving. So that's a really important one. And liver support, milk thistle is a great way to support the liver. And of course working at them together, but again, if the colon's not moving, and trust me, I had years of that, it wasn't fun. Supporting the kidney, plenty of water, just tons and tons of water all the time. We should be drinking half our body weight in ounces a day of water anyway. This is supporting the lymphatic system, and again, the dry brushing, saunas, and all of that. And like you said, don't use deodorants or any talc powders or anything like that. There's natural ways to do that. So you don't, that's an easy switch, is that and perfumes and, you know, things that have just synthetic things in them, we can get rid of. So in preparing for a cleanse, obviously we want to really start eating a healthy, balanced, organic diet. Even just doing that sometimes can make such a difference in the body. It just depends on where you come from, really, when you're starting. Exercise and detox is super important. Doesn't have to be crazy, but moving, walking, sweating is important. And again, building up the intestinal bacteria, that's super important. Eating foods that will feed the bacteria. You know, you can take probiotics all day long, but if you're not feeding them, then they're really not doing a whole lot. So that's important to do that, have that balance. Prebiotic foods, there's prebiotic powders you can do as well. Herbs and antioxidants in your diet. So there's a lot of things you can do, like with herbs, antifungals like garlic and onion, and you just eat all the time, and it's just natural for you. Bee pollen, that's actually good, or propolis and honey. Unless you have candida, you don't want to do a lot of honey, but the bee pollen can actually help you if you take it a few months before the season. A local bee honey, and just do a little bit every day. It'll actually build up your immune system with the local pollens. That's why it has to be local. That's just another thing you can get at the farmer's market. And mold, like you had talked about, the house full of toxins. Well, a lot of people have mold and they don't realize it. That's a really important one, especially when we live by the beach. We tend to get mold pretty quick. So that's a big one, and that's related to a lot of chronic illnesses. So when we think about that list that Anna went over, that's a really important one. And sleep, of course, that's when our body heals, is when we sleep. So there's a lot of people out there not getting good night's sleep. They're not sleeping through the night. And until we address that, they're going to have a hard time healing. So reducing stress, which is, everybody's got stress, but it's how we react and how we kind of deal with it throughout our day and how we allow things to get to us, that type of thing. But massage, acupuncture, all of that, and prayer for me, for sure, is very effective. Staying hydrated, we talked about that. Decreasing caffeine, all those drinks, and drinking more water. I like the Carlsbad mineral water myself. Palomar is pretty clean too, but that's the one I like. And sugar. Sugar's a big one. And once we start eating sugar, we don't like to stop eating sugar because it's super addictive. But if we can stay even between 25 and 45 grams a day, you can look at like one, protein bar and it can have 25 grams. So that's when we start looking at that kind of stuff. So we got to be careful on the sugar. And this is my book, Beyond Gluten. So when I wrote this, and it came out last year, it was really, the gluten-free phase and all that crazy stuff. Well, a lot of people, even today, there's studies coming out that are showing gluten-free diets are harmful because people aren't doing them the right way. They're buying processed foods. There's a lot less fiber in the gluten-free stuff, and so this is really kind of a way to help people understand the body, but also understand how to go gluten-free in a healthy way. You're welcome.
Okay, you can have a seat here if you want to say, in case you have questions. We're going to bring up Gianna Granton, and she's going to say a few words about her practice and how it relates to detoxification. While she's coming up, I want to let you know, I happen to have found one bottle in my stock of Liver MD liquid. If any of you would like to get a bottle before you go home and start cleaning that liver, I'm just letting you know I just happened to grab it right before I left. I'm like, oh, wow, I do have one there. Okay, so that is one left for somebody. And the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick before Gianna gets on There's something called epigenetics. Do you guys know what epigenetics are? Epigenetics, like people think, oh, it's in my genes. I have to have diabetes because this, that, and I have diabetes. I've got to have high cholesterol and high blood pressure because all my grandparents did. Wrong. There's something called epigenetics. We're kind of presenting it to you right now. Epigenetic means you are able and capable of changing your genes. All you have to do is change your diet, your environment, your thoughts, okay? And I also forgot to mention, in the handbook, you guys can get a session, a free complimentary session with me, up to 15 minutes, to see what the emotion code does. It releases your emotions. I've literally touched upon allergies because allergies are an emotional thing. You could be eating something and then you just saw a car accident, you're eating this apple, you just made a connection with that theme of just seeing that car, being crashed, and that apple could, not saying will, could become an allergen, okay? And you wouldn't know it, until I dig in and start to see why you're allergic to something. We are happy to have Gianna Granton here on stage. I was just babbling away while you're getting up here. So she already started to present what she does, and she's going to go further with telling us how what she does connects with a cleanse and detox state.
I was just enthralled in her talk, Sandy's talk. It was great, very informative. Thank you. I do the quantum physics biofeedback. Not too many people are aware of what we do, but we're all energy. We're all electric. And the interesting thing about how our bodies work is that every single organ, gland, parts of your brain, everything has its own frequency. So when we go in, I have the largest medical software that there is, and it can trace how your frequencies are. And then we can use different inverse waveforms if they're off to try to help them to get back up to where they need to be. Is anybody aware of biofeedback? Have you heard anything about it? That's good, okay. As I said, it's the largest medical software, and what we do, since we do work with the organs, as Sandy said, the eliminated organs are your liver, kidney, colon, skin, lungs, and the lymph moves those poisons. The lymph moves the poisons through muscle contraction and oxygen intake. And when you are doing a detox, such as Sandy's program, what will happen is sometimes it gets clogged up because we have so many poisons. So what my equipment can do also, because it is working with the organs, can help to keep those opened up so that you can move more things out through the lymph and through the organs. Also, as Sandy said, with inflammation, the National Institute of Health said that 85% of all diseases start with stress and inflammation. And the beauty of what I do is that when you do use biofeedback and work with your energetics, you're able to take the stress out of the muscles and relax. It is FDA registered for stress reduction out of the body and to relax the muscles. Once you get that going, the possibilities are endless. So that's what I do, and I hope you'll come and see me. Thank you.
I must tell you, I've known this woman for like over 15 years, and she's done wonders for my entire family. And the good thing about it, can I tell them a little secret? They don't even have to get out of their house sometimes. It's quantum physics. I can't always get to her place. So I just say, oh, you know what, I'm not feeling good today, David, call Gianna. And she gets on her machine, and I swear, like 45 minutes later, I'm walking like nothing happened, full of energy again. It's unbelievable. It's quantum physics. Remember, go look at your front of your handbooks. I didn't make it up when I said 21st century information and treatment. This is it. This is the real thing right here. Okay? So she's got brochures at the back you can go take a look at, give her a call, and like I said, you don't have to leave the house. She'll work on you. We'll explain that one. Okay, we are ready to move on now. DJ Danny had a few words he wanted to tell you. We're going to get ready for our next presenter.
All right, well, I want to say thank you to Anna, Sandy, and Gianna.
Thank you.
That was most informative. So now we're going to take a 10-minute break. Please feel free to stretch, use the bathroom, and everyone has a chance to pick out a question and enter our raffle for every question that they answer correctly. So this time we're going to take a short break. We're going to return for our second part, about 10 minutes if you'd like to use the bathroom and stretch, and we're going to continue shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask everyone to please take your seats because we're just about ready to head into the second part of our show. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to Anna, who's going to be introducing our next guest speaker.
All right. So, if any of you suffer with pain and inflammation, have sleep disorders, or even if your pets, get this, if your pets are dealing with these issues and more, we are happy to know that CBD oil is now legally available. Since this is about a presentation of CBD, we right now have CBD available that is under 0.3% THC. So that's what makes it legal, okay? And to tell us more about this very valuable product, I want to bring and thank Tanisha Duncan, who came special from Santa Monica in the rain. Can you imagine? I'm so happy with that. And I'm so grateful. And her company is called HempWorks. I'm also affiliated with the same company. There's true value in this company, and that's why we're presenting it here to you today. Also, just to let you know, she'll tell you more about it, but there's no added coconut or olive oil. A lot of people right now on their shelves have CBD, and I go and look at it, and it's got fillers that do not need to be there. They're not fillers, they're carrier oils. Go buy your own bottle of coconut oil. You don't need to have it in CBD if you want the real thing. So she's going to talk to you about the real thing and how important it is to have CBD in our daily life. Welcome, Tanisha Duncan. Let's give her a hand. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Okay, you guys. My name is Tanisha Duncan. I did drive all the way from Santa Monica because this is something I am incredibly passionate about. I represent myself as my company with Healthy Humans, and I am on a major mission to literally simplify helping humans get healthy. So, as I said, my name is Tanisha Duncan. I have my Bachelor's of Science from the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and I have apprenticed with Dr. Robert Marshall and Dr. Linda Forbes for the past 6 years, directly in the clinical field. So I'm very familiar with everything that you guys are talking about tonight. I love all of the lines of nutrition, especially that Anna is talking about. Premier Research Labs is the company that my mentors have worked with. It's what they manufacture, and this is really where I learned everything that I know about quality control. So, I'm a huge CBD enthusiast. I'm a recipe creator, and again, the founder of Healthy Humans. So, before I go right into my presentation, I'm very, very big about education. If I wanted to jump right into CBD, I would and get into the science, but the reason why I'm on a mission is because CBD, what I'm going to be talking about today, literally, in my personal opinion, has the ability to shift humanity in the next 5 to 10 years. So, before I jump into the science of CBD, I actually want to read all of these stats to you guys because they're pretty critically important, and they apply to you guys. They apply to your family, to your friends, to the future generations, and even the previous generations as well. So, here are some stats that you should all be very concerned about. There are 18.8 million Americans that suffer from a depressive disorder. There's 4% of preschoolers that are clinically depressed. Those little girls that were on stage cheerleading, 4% of the American population, and that's only in the US. There's 23% rate of increase of children with depression. 30% of American women are depressed, and there's a lot of ladies in here, there's a few guys, so I know that you guys can relate to this. Antidepressants only work for 30% of the depressed population. 10% of women experience postpartum depression after giving birth. 15% of depressed people will commit suicide, and depression costs the US $51 billion when they have days off work. So it gets even better right here. Prevalence of mental illness. Approximately 1 in 5 adults in the US, which is 43.8 million people, experience mental illness in a given year. Approximately 1 in 25 adults in the US, which is 9.8 million people, experience a serious mental illness in a given year that affects their life activities. Approximately 1 in 5 youth aged between the ages of 13 and 18 years old, you guys, experience a severe mental disorder at some point during their life. And for the kids that are aged between 8 and 15, that's 13% of the population. It's insane. 1.1% of adults in the US live with schizophrenia. 2.6% of adults in the US live with bipolar disorder. 6.9% of adults in the US, which is 16 million people, had at least one major depressive episode in the past year. There's 18.81% of adults in the US that have anxiety disorder, PTSD, OCD, and specific phobias. And among 20.2 million adults in the US who experienced a substance use disorder, 50.5% of them, which is 10.2 million adults, had a co-occurring mental illness. If these stats don't shock you, then I don't know what will. There's a lot of information on here, and it's important information on here. I cannot educate anybody about CBD if they do not know these stats, because this is what is affecting America and the entire world. And I believe that CBD can change it with nutrition, with the quantum field, with everything else. So, let's proceed. Mental health facts, again, 20% of the youth ages between the ages of 13 and 18 live with mental conditions. 11% of the youth have a mood disorder, 10% of the youth have a behavior or a conduct disorder, and 8% of the youth have an anxiety disorder. Is anyone shocked? Because I know I was when I read this, and every single time I read this to families, they're blown away. So raise your hands for me if any of you guys know at least one person, an adult, that has any of these issues. Do any of you guys know any kids that have these issues? Okay, I used to be one of them, and that's why I'm very passionate about this, because if I would have had this in my life years ago, I know my health would have been in a very different situation. So, look at this one, right over here. Third, suicide. Suicide is the third leading cause of death in the youth between the ages of 10 and 24. You guys, this is even more shocking. This is crazy to me. So, let's shift gears a little bit. With pharmaceutical drugs, and again, I am not a medical doctor, I am an educator. I do not make claims, I do not treat, cure, diagnose. In 2017, 57.9% of adults aged between the ages of 18 and 64, and 86.1% of adults greater than 65 were prescribed medications in the past 12 months. That's only 12 months, so imagine what it's been for the past 50 years and the future years to come, unless people like ourselves here in this room continue to make an influence for the other people. So, what are the 10 most popular prescription drugs in the US? We've got Motrin, you're all familiar with Motrin. We've got Zofran, which is used to prevent nausea. We've got Glucophage, which is used to treat diabetes. Lipitor for high cholesterol. We've got Prinavil for hypertension. We've got Neurontin, which is for seizures and nerve pain. We've got amoxicillin for infections. We've got Dilazone, used to treat arthritis. We've got Synthroid, which is used for hypothyroidism. We've got Vicodin, which of course we know is for pain. But here's what's crazy, is that with all of these side effects of treatments with corticosteroids, immunosuppressants, interferons, and painkillers, here's what you get with that. This is what you get for trying to treat a condition, you guys. You get an increased risk of sickness or bodily infections, extreme fatigue or drowsiness, pains and aches in muscles and joints, dysfunction of the liver, mild to chronic diarrhea, bodily intoxication, mild to chronic constipation, and serious irritation at the sites of injections when needed. That's a solve-all, right? Sure. So, a quick case study conclusion. Data contributes to a growing body of literature suggesting that cannabis, legal or otherwise, is being used as a substitute for prescription drugs. Amazing. Particularly prescription pain relievers. 259 million prescriptions for pain relievers were written by a healthcare provider in 2012. And in 2015, 2 million Americans aged greater than 12 had a substance use disorder that involved prescription pain relievers. Facts, you guys, and they're growing rapidly unless we do something about it and we continue to educate the people. So, what the heck does any of this have to do with CBD? I just ranted for 5 minutes about mental health and medications. What does any of this have to do with CBD? Quite a bit. Supplementing with CBD can literally help you create balance by supporting the endocannabinoid system, also termed as the ECS. But what the heck is that? The ECS is basically the largest neurotransmitter system in the entire body that controls pretty much everything. It helps control the nervous system, which again is the brain, your digestion, your entire body, and the immune system. Things that help you basically stay safe from getting sick. Things that allow you to move through every single day. Literally touching this desk, my immune system is intact right now. Touching this microphone, my immune system is being combated with stress. The problem is that so many people are under stress within their nervous systems and their immune systems that they're walking around like what you wonderful ladies have been talking about with chronic inflammation. People don't know that they're walking around with inflamed nervous systems and inflamed immune systems. This is much farther than just beyond basic health here. So, the best way to describe the endocannabinoid system or the ECS is it plays out a balancing act. So think of a tier of balancing. So because it's responsible for managing so many pieces of the body, it has to regulate everything. So I love to give a basic demo. We have good cells. Let's say this hand is a good cell. And this cell is a bad cell. And here's my receptor here. My receptor, CBD, controls the endocannabinoid system. It's going to communicate with my bad cell over here. And it's going to say, hey bad cell, you're bad, you need to go away. It's gone. So then I have another receptor right here. And it's going to, let's just say this is the good one again, even though the bad one's gone. We've got the good cell. And this receptor is going to communicate to the good cell. It's going to say, hey, good cell, you're doing a really good job. Keep doing really, really good and get better. And it's going to get better. But not too good. Because if our cell's too good, then our immune system is being too helped, and then it starts attacking itself. So it knows how to regulate balance in the entire body. So, what are some basic things that the ECS is responsible for keeping in check? Wow, well look at this. We've got fertility, pregnancy, reproductive organs, appetite, hunger, digestive systems, sleep, motor control, pain, pleasure, immune function, effects of other cannabinoids, temperature regulation, mood, and memory. And the crazy part is that that's just not it. It keeps going. So, we've talked about the ECS, but what the heck is CBD? In simple terms, CBD is a molecule that we're actually born with. People don't know that. People have no idea that we are born with this molecule. CBD stands for cannabidiol, or other people say cannabidiol. Up to you, whatever you want to say. Humans, we're born with it. Animals, they're born with it. It can be found in many other plants other than just cannabis. So, ladies, and gentlemen too, but ladies, are you familiar with what a baby looks like when they're drinking breast milk and they're latched on and their eyes are rolling back and they're feeling really, really good and they're blitzed out and they call it being milk drunk or whatever? Okay, the moment that baby unlatches from that breast and it's like, its head is loose and it just looks like it's in a really blissed out state. Not only did they get a rush of wonderful hormones from the mother, but they got a big, massive rush of CBD. Why? Because our bodies manufacture them. So that baby in that blissful state, we're actually supposed to be like that 100% of the time. But why are we not? Because every single day we're combating stress. The way that we internalize negativity or emotional trauma, Wi-Fi, food, you name it. Any type of stressor that we internalize actually massively affects the decline and degradation of our own CBD. So now, here we are living in a world combating stress and trying to survive and trying to be healthier, or just trying to make $1. And our body is being impacted massively, and our ability to actually manage anxiety, stress, to have better sleep, to respond and react appropriately is diminished, because we actually are in a severe deficit of this wonderful molecule. And it begins the very moment we're born, especially if we're born into crazy bright lights in a hospital. We are combating stress every single day, and our nervous systems are massively attacked. So, CBD, this wonderful molecule that we're born with, and that animals have too, is essential. And we have a responsibility now, with the information that is presented, to not only share it with people, but give it to the people. Because if we can support these nervous systems and immune systems with CBD, in my personal opinion, in the next 5 to 10 years, if we can get this into the hands of the people, we can make a difference. Now people have the proper way to manage themselves and their health and their nervous system and reactions, and aren't walking around like this because they're so tense, but they can coast through life and be the normal person that they're supposed to be and how they're supposed to act. So, let's touch base on CB1 and CB2 receptors. Simple terms, CB1 receptors is the nervous system. The nervous system controls the entire body's response. And very specifically, it works with the kidneys, the lungs, and the liver. So CB1 receptors are activated when we start supplementing with CBD. CB2 receptors, these receptors are very responsible for, just think physicality. The immune system, how the immune system responds with something. Pain, inflammation, temperature regulation, digestion, the spleen. This is where CB2 receptors come in. But because we're so deficient, think about it, we're walking around like stress cases, having emotional breakdowns every single day, and we're combating our health, and we're not going to the bathroom or whatever, our hormone regulation is totally off. That's CB1 and CB2 receptors. So we need to fix that, and if we can, now we're getting ahead of the game. So, what are the key players that are actually affected using CBD specifically that people can relate to? Boom, who loves to laugh and be happy? I know I do every single day, and if I'm not happy every single day, then I know that something is off. So, serotonin. CBD specifically elicits an anti-anxiety effect. Basically what this does is it does the same thing that your antidepressant does, but just naturally. It's really cool. It also helps with addiction, appetite, sleep, pain perception, nausea, and vomiting. Serotonin receptors, these are activated when we begin using CBD. Then we have what are called vanilloid receptors. Who knew that we actually have receptors that are named after vanilla? Did anybody know that? I didn't either until I learned about it. It's pretty cool. Vanilloid receptors, what they're responsible for is actually triggering the body to say, okay, you don't have to have pain, you don't have to have temperature dysregulation, and you don't have to have inflammation. But if these receptors are not active, then we have a problem. We're not supporting them. So, vanilloid receptors. Another way that you can relate with this is if you guys have heard of capsaicin or, for example, chili peppers. Chili peppers are often used as a way to numb pain, just like clove is as well. Same type of receptor action here. And then this is my favorite. Reason being, I can relate to it very well with a family member. These are nuclear receptors. What CBD does is it triggers these nuclear receptors very specifically. I want to point this out. This receptor activation can stop harmful cell growth as well as an inability to induce tumor regression in human lung cancer cell lines. This activation degrades a key molecule linked to the development of Alzheimer's disease. This is one of the reasons why cannabidiol may be used as a remedy for Alzheimer's patients. Pretty outstanding, I think. I've got a grandmother with dementia, and I have a grandmother that has had breast cancer 2 times, double mastectomy, and she's here.
And guess what? They're on CBD. So, a recap really quick. What are the top 12 benefits for CBD oil for you, your family, and your pets? CBD is not psychoactive. You can absolutely not get high from this. It reduces anxiety. Clinically, it has been shown that it can fight cancer. Again, from that demo that I did, basically telling the bad cell to go away. It does not directly kill cancer cells. It tells the cancer cell to go away. Really important for you guys to know that. It can treat seizures and epilepsy. It relieves pain. It can help with inflammatory bowel disease. Again, that would be CB2 receptors. It reduces chronic inflammation and autoimmune disease. That would be CB2 receptors. It can protect the nervous system and help with neurodegenerative disease. It increases appetite and helps with nausea. So let's touch on that. Who actually wants an increased appetite? A lot of women always tell me they don't. But for the individual that is chronically stressed and their system is so shut down, they actually don't have the activation of the hormones that tell them when to eat or when to stop. So those people don't have an appetite and they need to be stimulated to eat. But not like, the munchies when you're high, because this doesn't do that. Also, it promotes cardiovascular health, it can relieve acne, and it can benefit heart health. And there are doctors in the UK, by the way, if you look them up on YouTube, there are cardiac surgeons that are actually saying if their patients were taking CBD, it would replace all of their surgeries. So you can look it up on YouTube. So, I'm going to jump into product here. Other CBD products, I'm sure you guys are hearing a lot about it. Everybody's talking about it. It's the market, the way that everything is going. But again, it's really important for me to make sure that I do my job and educate you guys. There's a lot of bunk product out there. There's a lot of things that have synthetics, fillers, even crazier, mold, fungus, yeast, all these things that we're going to talk about right now. So, obviously you guys can't see it. The writing's really small. But this is basically a list of the top CBD products that are on the market, whether they're non-GMO, organic, or not. Every single one of them has fillers, and every single one of them does not go through third-party testing. So basically, people are paying as much as up to $500 for a half ounce to an ounce for something that's technically not clean. So I know that I'm the type of person that with my clients, especially families or young families or growing families, if I'm going to advocate something to them, it better be worth their penny, because they're dishing out a lot of cash or they're asking for a lot of money from family members to help them support their health. So, how can you and your loved ones start supporting your health with clean and pure CBD? It's really simple. Get educated. So, the line that I represent is called HempWorks, and I want to be very, very clear. This is not something that I thought that I would be doing 4 months ago. If somebody were to ask me if I would be advocating CBD, I would say heck no. Reason being, I personally was caught in the stigma. I don't really have the greatest history as a teenager, like many other teenagers. Getting reckless and destructive and smoking and getting high, that was me, which is why I wanted nothing to do with this. Until I was presented with the information by my brother saying, Niche, which is my nickname, you need to check this out because this is in complete alignment with what you do with your clients. He said, no, Will, I'm not doing this. I want nothing to do with this. But I studied and I was blown away. And this is actually a company that met my standards that I learned from my mentor, Dr. Robert Marshall, which is that line of nutrition back on that table. Third-party testing. When it comes to learning all about that, him and his wife, they're the people to train. So, this is literally the highest quality of hemp-derived CBD oil that you can find on the market for quality production and dollar value. So, why are we more superior? Well, we've got 4 categories that split us up. First of all, I love to tell people we are organically grown, we're non-GMO, we are third-party tested, and what we love to do is put our lab results in the hands of the consumers. I have called countless CBD companies saying, hey, do you guys have your labs? Oh, well, sure, yeah, we'll give you our labs of CBD and THC. Well, no, that's not what I'm really looking for. I don't care about how much CBD or THC you have. Show me your product is clean. Show me your product has no mold, yeast, fungus, heavy metals, pesticides, mildew, harmful microbes, all these things. Can you show me that? Oh, well, no, we don't have that available. Okay, how much are you charging for your bottle? Oh, $150. Okay. What else is in there? Coconut oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. We've got MSG, we've got natural flavors. We've got water, glycerin, sugar even. I have seen sugar in these products. We have 2 ingredients. It's called hemp oil and CBD. And for the ones that we do have flavors with, it's peppermint and cinnamon, actually derived from peppermint and cinnamon. So we are also grown in Kentucky, in the US, on a federally legal farm with heirloom seeds, you guys. Pretty cool. Also, what I really love about our company is that we've got proven results. We literally have over 100,000 testimonials that basically say, our product is so clean. We do third-party testing. We give you something that is the closest to raw. And guess what? Because we're so confident in the product quality that we provide, not only do we have a 30-day money-back guarantee, but guess what? We just extended it 4 weeks ago to 60-day money-back guarantee because we're so confident in the quality that we produce and the results that we get. So, what is the difference between hemp products that you buy in the store and this? Well, majority of them have hemp seed oil, which have a very small amount of CBD in there. So basically what you're doing when you're getting from the store is you're just getting a basic nutritional supplement. Like I mentioned, hemp grown on American farms. We're grown in Kentucky. We're not grown outside of the US. Majority of the CBD on the market is actually grown in Europe and China and other countries where their actual growing systems are the complete opposite of ours, which is kind of funny because our food system is kind of the other way around. It's like a flip-flop here. So again, we also do go through manufactured in an FDA registered, FDA food registered, FDA approved, CGMP certified and cruelty free facility. So that, in my opinion, meets my standards to be able to represent. Again, science and farming. We literally are legal in all 50 states. Reason being, we comply with the newly updated and former 2014 and now 2018 Farm Bill stating, as long as you produce a product that comes from a material, hemp, that has no more than 0.3% THC dry weight, you're good, you're legal. So guess what, guys? This can ship everywhere. And guess what? I also ship to the UK. Oh, and other countries as well. That's how legal we are, because we comply. So, you obviously can't see it here, but on our website, you can see all the labs. The reason why I love these labs is because these are the actual lab tests that show we have no mold, mildew, heavy metals, fungus, yeast, harmful microbes, pesticides, or moisture. I can put that in the hands of my clients and in the hands of my grandma and know that this is perfect. This meets my standards. So again, our antimicrobial tests here, we are safe and effective, we comply, we are under federal law. The 10 reasons to use and try hemp works. This newly updated 30 days, now a 60-day money-back guarantee. We are free of synthetic artificial ingredients in our products. We are made in the USA. We are full spectrum, meaning we have CBD and less than 1% THC, which is clinically shown to be much more effective. However, we also do have THC free for those that are concerned about any type of work situations with THC. Again, this is for both humans and pets. Cool, people can get a free bottle if they want to, refer 3 customers. I like to share that, but again, not my focus. It goes right to your doorstep. You cannot get high from this, you guys. Please know that. CO2 extraction, this is what allows us to basically be as pure as possible for the people. And again, like I said, we have over 100,000 satisfied customers. Very exciting for us. We have different strengths. The 750 milligram really is for the individual who has something very specific to achieve. So let's just say, for example, you have chronic pain or you have migraines, just as an example. I would always recommend the 750 milligram for that. The 500 milligram, that is really for the individual that has general health goals, but you'd be surprised at how many of them actually are mind blown, and that's what happened to me. I had nothing to achieve, and then 2 weeks in, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? This is crazy. Very cool. Like I said, 3 flavors. We've got peppermint, cinnamon, and natural, non-GMO and organic, and 60-day money-back guarantee. Even if the bottle is empty, by the way. It's very cool. We've got 2 ingredients in there, hemp seed oil, and we've got CBD. That's literally it. Hemp works for pets. And this is our entire product line. We've got tinctures for humans, we've got products for pets, and we've got facial care, which I actually really love this line. I haven't used a facial line in 10 years, and I'm using this now. So I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank you for your openness. This is something I'm very passionate about, and I want to encourage you to make the difference for not only yourself, but for your friends and your family, because again, this is something that can massively shift humanity if we just open up our paradigms a little bit. Thank you very much.
Better. I mean, this is like a top speaker who is an enthusiast over this. I can't thank you enough. That was so beautiful, like very perfectly detailed and put together. So again, we have to kind of speed things up a little bit because we kind of have to be out of here by 8:30. So thank you so much. I want to again thank you all for coming. Please, please fill out the surveys. They mean so much to us. We will not be having another show till April, and we need sponsors for these shows. If any of you can please sponsor. Right now, I paid for everything here. Being in this venue, everything, and we have so many amazing volunteers that helped out and gave us a great price break for everything. But if you want another show, if you want this to stay alive, and we want Healthy Haven to stay alive, how many want Healthy Haven to stay alive? Let's have a show of hands. All right, well, if you want it to happen, we need your support, okay? So whether you're watching this at home or whether you're here in the audience tonight, please, help us out so we can continue having these shows. Again, we won't have another till April, but I will be having mini workshops. If you leave me your email on those surveys, and I hope you're all filling them out because I love your feedback, I will have mini workshops between now and the next show. And we can continue staying knowledgeable, getting educated. I can't guarantee you'll have guest speakers, but I will do what I can to make it happen. And we got great information anyway. So drive carefully. Thank you. We are going to have our huge raffle. Okay, and everyone's gonna go home with something, okay? So thank you again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank them for coming out tonight. We ask you that you exit via the back doors as we need to clear the room.